Minister Nathi Mthethwa, in partnership with the Professor Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe Trust, are officially opening the Professor Robert Sobukwe Exhibition in honor of the liberation struggle icon. And we do understand the minister has arrived, and we cross to the live event now.
On your way to Lodiam, and then we have got one in Mabopane, which is called the Odi Correctional Center. My Deputy Minister, I must report that as of this morning, we had a total of 6,931 offenders, which amongst them we had sentenced offenders of about 4,085 and unsentenced 2,868 and one baby, which is only 2 weeks old. Minister, I must also indicate that as I was talking about the self-sufficiency, we also have got a production workshop. We are producing all items that are distributed to our facilities, starting with offenders' uniform. We produce desks, we produce furniture. I'm also inviting Amaklavani that when you want a desk, if you want some other stuff, don't go and buy in Janet Richards. You can also come to us. We can sell for you. If you on your way here, you pass that wall. We are building a wall of remembrance. Was built as well by our own officials and offenders. So we are a very skilled environment. We normally tell people that we are in school, we are a hotel, we are agriculture, we are an industry. So don't underestimate us. We can do our best. The fifth one that I'm looking for is to have events management because of this event of this magnitude. I nearly forgot that we have got also a museum, and we also have got another two museums here. We've got museum of the old gallows, which we also invite yourself, Matlabani, that if you have time, visit that museum and see how our comrades, our people used to be hanged in that space. We also have got the museum where we are also housing some of the old stuff that we had during apartheid, and that is the museum that we are also hosting today's event, which is situated just on your right-hand side. This museum, Minister, I must able to indicate that it was built in 1903, and it was in fact the commissioner of this management area, or the Commissioner of Correctional Services house, which was later converted to offices, and later in 1960 to 1987 it was also converted to a bar for the correctional senior managers. That was prison senior managers. Then in 1990 it was converted to a museum which was officially opened by Brigadier Van Zyl and Brigadier Gillingham on the 8th of May 1991. This museum, as I indicated, was built in 1903. It was built together with the central prison, as during those years the central prison was the only prison that was available here. On that note, with the excitement that I have, as much as I'm bragging, I'm just saying, loosen your seat belts, relax. We have tightened all our dogs. They are all at the dog unit. We have our offenders that we are keeping very busy, and you will see some of them that are here. And it's not all offenders that are dangerous. It's very few. So if you see some of them here, don't panic, relax. They are here on a program. Some of them, as they are working, we are also training them for self-sufficiency, so that when they go out, they should be able to face the world. On that note, enjoy yourself. We can play the music as loud as we can. You can able to go and utilize your selfies, your cell phones. The place is open for you. And I'm handing over this part of correctional services to Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. Thank you very much,
Thank you very much. And then let me just finish what I could not finish before, managing time and splitting my salutations. The masks sometimes, they make us not to be sure. I looked behind me and I thought that is Baba Sirote, but I was not sure. But indeed it is him. We welcome the spokesperson of the movement, PAC. Welcome, Baba. And I know that amongst us we also have a former president of the movement, Baba Mphahlele. We recognize you, Baba. And we also have the trust. We also have the trust in terms of the Sobukwe Trust represented. I'm told that the chairperson of the trust is amongst us. I would like a wave so that we can better recognize yes, thank you very much. On that note, I think I can as well continue with the program. And where we are on the program, it's where we are going to receive some opening remarks that on your program are said to be remarks that will be delivered by SG, but for some reasons other arrangements have been made, and we shall have Mr. Sirote behind me doing the opening remarks. And I will also request him, as he is finishing with the opening remarks, to introduce the president of the movement, Baba Nyonzo, so that we can as well hear from him. And may I have the movement doing something nice for our ears, a slogan that is making us receive in a warm, welcoming way, Baba Sirote.
Mr. Minister Comrade Nathi Mthethwa, the Deputy Minister of Correctional Services, Inkosi Pategile Olumisa, the leadership of the PAC here. In particular, I also want to mention the former president of the PAC, Dade Comrade Dr. Mthethwa is here with us. I'd also want to acknowledge that the Sobukwe's son, who's also my friend, Nathi Sobukwe, is here. Would you please stand up for me? Let me hasten to do my duty. I want to point out that this facility where we are here, previously known as the Pretoria Central Prison, also has remarkable historical circumstances that we should all record. In 1962, you remember that Sobukwe was serving a prison sentence. He was doing a 3-year prison sentence after being convicted at a trial that included 22 others related to the Sharpeville massacre, and from the PAC point of view, related to the Positive Action Campaign. When Sobukwe was here, we now read, Comrade Minister, that in the narrative set by an author, Nelson Mandela, in his book, The Long Walk to Freedom, he says that they engaged in discussions when they were in prison here with Sobukwe. They dealt with national matters, and they dealt with an assessment of the Sharpeville massacre itself and the future of the country. For me, this also gives credence to the song Bahleli Bonke Etilonge, because our leaders, all of them, sacrificed their lives for us, for our liberation. In the PAC, though, that liberation still has to happen. In this facility, we have one of our comrades, Comrade Pangubani. He's one of the APLA combatants, a fighting force. He's serving his sentence here as me and you are seated under this wonderful condition and remarking. Our comrades who are in prison, who are serving parole outside the prison and correctional facilities, are still in prison, because if you serve parole, you are still in prison. And that's a symbolic thing. It also means that the masses of our people still have to get rid of the chains of oppression. We still have to go a long way in liberating ourselves. But we don't forget where we come from. And where we come from is where our leaders told the whole world about our conditions as an oppressed people, as a people who are deprived of their land, who are suffering from the indignities of apartheid and colonialism, of our people who are denied the right to exist as normal human beings. But in return, we guarantee human rights. We don't guarantee minority rights and privileges for people on the basis of race, caste, and other things that they may think they do. They deserve, because Sobukwe taught us very well that our mission is greater than ourselves. We are in a mission to fulfill the freedom of mankind, to fulfill the liberation of humankind, as we say it in the modern language. That task is still in our hands. I'm there to mention to you that the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania is working very hard to first unify all its forces, to bring together everyone who's outside the framework of the Pan-Africanist Congress to work within the organization. We have fulfilled that constitutionally. We have done all that is necessary to bring all our forces together, because despite our differences, there are minimum issues that make us unite. Among them is the image of Sobukwe. We regard him as a wonderful light that shines the path for all of us to go by. So we unite under the guidance of Sobukwe's philosophies. Sobukwe did not work alone. He worked with others, bright sparks in the liberation movement, Muthupe, Hokela, Raboroko, David Sbergo, Vusmake, and many others. All of them pushing the idea that occupied Tanzania, South Africa, is an African country, and the black man is the owner, the rightful owner of the land of South Africa. Saying that leadership must come from the loins of the oppressed people. We can't be led by people who do not have the same interest as us. These basic things are very important for us to go by. And these are issues that are outlined in a document that many people are not familiar with, but it is the 1949 program of action that was adopted by the Bloemfontein Congress, annual conference of the African National Congress. We still stand by that. The PAC today is represented in leadership by Comrade Zwanele Nyonto. Zwanele Nyonto comes from the ranks of the PAC. He's a humble man, and he has learned from his elders. Let me also say this. Funny enough, he regards me as an elder. But if I stand next to him, he's older than me. That's because you see, in my blood runs, in my veins runs the blood of the Khoisan. In my vein runs the blood of the Sotho-Tswana people. In my veins runs the blood of the great people of KwaZulu. All of them put together make me look younger than my age says. I'm a pensioner, but very few of you can say that. Thank you. I'm introducing Comrade Nyonto because he's a leader of the PAC coming from the Eastern Cape, where we have powerful structures of the rural people. He leads that rural constituency of the PAC, of people who abahlala emakhaya, ezilalini. Thank you very much. People who are ignored and are never known, they're never on the agenda, and they're never interviewed, or their opinions are never said. He represents that powerful constituency, and we believe very strongly that in the PAC, as I spoke about the unity of the PAC, that everyone, the professionals, the intellectuals, the middle class, business people, the working people, everyone is united inside the PAC as a liberation movement. And his leadership is a leadership for all these people, because as Sobukwe had said, we are led by the ideas of the semi-literate and the illiterate, the workers and the peasants. Comrades, friends, and allies, let me introduce to you Comrade Zwanele Nyonto. Thank you.
Africa, Sobukwe kausikhokele lo msebenzi esiuphetheyo khonuko zuphumelele ngokuthanda kwethu ngokuthanda kwethu bambule lunyana womntu ngenxa yelungelo lokufuna izwe lethu kuba cinezele Sobukwe kausikhokele kulo msebenzi esiuphetheyo khonuko zuphumelele ngokuthanda kwethu ngokuthanda kwethu. Thank you very much, my Africa. Program Director, Minister Mthethwa, Deputy Minister Olomisa, Gab, and you know why you do this book. Bonke abantu abalapha phambili ndiyababulisa. Former President Dr. Pheko, I salute you. Former President Comrade Litlapa Mpatlele, I salute you. For leaders of the PAC, I see my sister Mohau Pheko, I salute you. Ifamily kaSobukwe, ndiyayibulisa. Sobukwe Trust, Professor Zide. You're not only a chairperson of the trust, also a comrade, and your family, members of the PAC, everyone. Should I call you Advocate Mandulu or Comrade Manduli? Then Katela, warm and then comrades. Remembering Sobukwe on this occasion is great. Minister of Sports and Culture deserves a round of applause. For not only celebrating the PAC founding president, but celebrating Sobukwe the right way. Needless to say, the right way of recognizing Sobukwe is to do so in the presence of his biological family and in the presence of his political family, the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania. Siyabonga kakhulu, Minister Nyombose. Thank you very much. Thank you for standing firm on the matter of principle. We hope other ministers will learn from you. Comrades, uSobukwe sidla ngova minister sekusithwa ubone TV ukuthi that occasion was about Sobukwe, and you would be shocked. Siyabulela kakhulu minister ngalento uyenzileyo yoyicinga into uSobukwe has a political home, and that political home is nothing else but Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania. Thank you very much. As we remember Mangaliso Sobukwe, we have to remind ourselves who is Sobukwe. Steve Biko called him God. John Foster, former South African Prime Minister, called him a political heavyweight, a man with a divine sense of mission and a magnetic personality. and that was Sobukwe. And Sobukwe alone not only orchestrated Sharpeville, but he led from the front, and that was Sobukwe. Siyabulela kakhulu, Minister. In all honesty, Sobukwe is not as celebrated as he ought to be. Tatupegu, I was talking about you this morning to comrades Dagalal and others, that at some point I asked you, but what is your feeling about this thing of state funeral? When we buried Comrade Khosa, and you said until Sobukwe is recognized, we must reject these crimes. Sobukwe must be recognized. Lest we forget that no person in the history of this country ever had a piece of legislation especially enacted for them. It was only Sobukwe. No one except Sobukwe. We hope this is the beginning of the real and true tribute to Prof, as Sobukwe was fondly called. Minister, this one, the person we want the voice of Sobukwe. There is no way that voice of Sobukwe is equalized South Africa. It is here. Somebody out there is refusing us to hear the voice of Sobukwe. We've been talking about this, Minister, you know, almost in all my speeches in Parliament, even those who came before me, they have been saying, where is the voice of Sobukwe? The most hated, the most feared, the most videoized, the most loved, and the most interviewed, but still you don't have his interviews. There's something wrong here. Please, Minister, Sobukwe's voice must be found, and Abantu Balapha South Africa must know exactly what Sobukwe said. We must stop writing about him. Sobukwe was great in all things he took part in. A great scholar, a great leader, a great revolutionary, and above all, a great human being who strongly believed in service to humanity. Lastly, before I sit down, Deputy Minister, here in Khoshimamburu, there is Pangubane, owabanjwa in Standard in 1992 for APLA operations. He deserves to go home and be released. He's not a criminal, he's an APLA cadre. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Baba Nyonzo. Let me just give a moment to the creative sector because I know it had prepared a slogan song, a Zanian song. But I did know that when you are calling on someone like a president, the constituency of the president knows what to sing for the president. So I know that this is going to happen. President, let us give them an opportunity as well to show you something. Thank you.
An exhibition to honor struggle icon Robert Sobukwe in progress there, and Minister Nathi Mthethwa, in partnership with the Professor Robert Sobukwe Trust, will be officially opening that center. We'll dip into that as soon as the minister takes to the podium.